Hi, this is Janet Eifred. This is my fourth video on fractions. In this one I'm going to show you how to add, subtract, times and divide fractions. We're also going to look at converting mixed numbers and improper fractions and equivalent fractions and simplifying fractions. Okay, so let's get started. Change the improper fraction to mixed number. So what is an improper fraction? The top number is larger than the bottom number. It's top heavy. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction together. Okay, so if we would look at 3 over 2, we've got 3 halves, 1, 2, 3 halves. Can you see that that is 1 whole and a half? So it is 1 and a half. So let's see how will we do that. 3 over 2, that is also 3 divided by 2, because that is your dividing line. That is your dividing line, okay? 3 divided by 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1. Now your whole number is the 1. Your remainder, the 1 goes back over the 2. I try to color code this 2, 2, 2 in blue so that it's easier. Okay, on the worksheets you'll get a lot more practice on this. 5 over 2, that is 5 divided by 2. Did you want to try this one on your own first? Pause the video then. 5 divided by 2 gave you 2, remainder 1. In other words, the 2, your whole number, and your remainder, the 1, goes back on the 2. Let's look, how would 5 over 2 look like in a diagram? 5 halves. Okay, there's 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. In other words, that is 1 whole, 2 wholes, 2.5 wholes, 2.5 wholes. So sometimes if you work on a lower level maths, you could draw a diagram if you don't understand how to do this, but I do encourage you to practice this, because with practice anyone can do this. Okay, please look at this again if you want. Try to do it on your own. Pause the video for that. There's just how I do the answers in the workbook. We've already had the answers on the previous page, but please look at this again. Pause the video. Okay, now you're going to try to do this one on your own. Hopefully the colors there would help you. Please pause the video and do this on your own. Okay, we are going to say it's 5 divided by 4. If you find remainders hard, please go to my division worksheets. In division 1 there's no remainders. In my division 2 worksheet we specifically work on remainders. Okay, and I will show you remainder patterns, how you can learn to work out remainders very easily, because that is quite a tricky topic to start with when you start division. Okay, 5 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 1. Okay, my whole number goes there, my remainder goes back on the 4. Did you want to try to draw pictures for yourself to understand this better? Okay, 5 fours, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fours, yeah? So it will be 1 whole, oops, I can't draw very nicely here. 1 whole and another 1 out of 4. 1 and 1 out of 4, which is known as 1 1/4, okay? Now, let's see if you can do this. You can use the colors to help you. Pause the video and try this. Okay, that would be 6 divided by 5. What does that give you? 1 remainder 1, and your remainder goes back on the 5. Okay, pause the video, try to do this, and there you go, there's your answers. Okay, check them, pause the video to check. Now change these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So we're going to do it the other way around. We have a mixed number, we want to make it a fraction. We don't want the whole number there anymore. So how would you work? The bottom number stays exactly the same. How are you going to work out the top number? You are going to say 1 times 3 plus 2. 1 times 3 is 3 plus the 2 gives you the 5 at the top. Let's just quickly see. You can also draw a diagram. That is the easier way to do that. 1.5. There is 1 whole and there is a half. And how many is there? It's 1, 2, 3. It's 3 halves. So 3 halves. Okay, 3 over 2. Okay, I've given you the diagrams on the worksheet so you can color them, and hopefully that will help you to learn this, especially those who are visual learners. But now we're going to try to follow this method. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. And is that what we had here? We colored 1, 2 and another third. And how many was it in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So 7 out of 3. Okay, it's your turn. Remember, 1 times 4 plus 1. 1 times 4 plus 3, and so on. You try the rest, pause the video. There you go, there's the answers. Please try to check them. Also try to draw your diagrams so you can make sure your method works. It will also help you to understand this method better. Okay, pause the video and check. Now, you already know now how to express an improper fraction as a mixed number. You can do those. You know how to change a mixed number to an improper fraction, okay? Top heavy. Do that. Now, in my previous videos, I showed you how to simplify a fraction and how to do an equivalent fraction. So I'm not going to repeat that in this video, otherwise it gets too long. So pause the video and try to do this. There you go, there's the answers. Please check and make sure you can do that so we can continue. Pause the video. Okay, just one more thing. We have to learn how to work out a lowest common multiple. We've already done that also in a previous video. But let's quickly check if you remember how to do it. What's the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4? Write down your multiples of 3, it's the times table. Write down your multiples of 4, it's the times table. Now let's look what is in common, what is in both lists. There's a 12 and there's a 24. So that is common multiples of 3 and 4 is 12 and 24, and the lowest one of the two. And there's many more if you would continue with this list. We just need this list until we get one that's in common, because we are only interested in the lowest common one, which is 12 in this case. Try to work out the next one, pause the video. Okay, there you go, there's your answers, please check. Pause the video to check. Okay, now adding and subtracting fractions. If the denominator are the same, add or subtract the numerators, the top. Put the answer over the same denominator and simplify if needed. Okay, so 1/8 plus 2/8. You are only going to add the top numbers. 1 plus 2 is 3. And the bottom will stay the same. It will stay 8. Now see if that is a sensible thing for you. If you see this diagram, there's the 1/8, 1 out of 8, there's the 2 out of 8. And can you see that together it will make 3 out of 8, yeah? And that is why you can only add fractions with the same parts, fractions with the same bottom number. You can only add them. If the denominators are not the same, calculate the lowest common multiple of the two denominators. Calculate equivalent fractions with the bottom equal to the lowest common multiple. Now add or subtract as usual and simplify your answer. Okay, we had 1/8 and 2/3. So we want to work out what is the lowest common multiple. Now the easiest way to do that is just to look at the highest number and look what's multiples of 8. It's 8, 16, 24. Now if we get here, we can see 8 isn't in my 3 times table, 16 isn't, but 24 is. So actually it wasn't necessary to write down the list of those, because we can see it's 24. Yeah, it's also 8 times 3 is also 24. It works in this case. It doesn't work in every case like this. So I would recommend don't use the method of just saying 8 times 3, because you will end up with very big numbers and can easily make a mistake. This method I show you here will be in every case the best method to follow. Okay? We've got 1/8. We want to write it as an equivalent fraction with 24 at the bottom. What is going to be the top number? 8 times what gives us 24? Times by 3. So we times by 3 at the top. 1 times 3, 3. So this 1/8 becomes 3 over 24. It's the same thing. It's equivalent. Equal. Okay? There you go. Now we have to work out what is the 2/3 with the 24 at the bottom. 3 times what gives us 24? That's times 8. In other words, we have 2 times 8 at the top as well. 2 times 8, 16. So my 2/3 is now 16 over 24. Now we have the bottom numbers the same. In other words, we can just go and add up the top numbers. Okay, so the bottom number is 24. It stays that. What is 3 plus 16? 19, yeah? Okay? 19 over 24 cannot be simplified. Now try to work through this, try to make sure you understand this, and see if you can work out the next one. There's a diagram also for you to help you. Okay, pause the video to do that. Now this is the answers. This is how I show you the answers in the workbook. Let's just look at this one. 3 plus 1 is 4 over 6. And when we have 4 over 6, we can see they're both even. I can simplify. You could have drawn a diagram for yourself. It is 3 plus a 1. And it gives you 4 over 6, yeah? Which you need to simplify. That is 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2 out of 3. Look at the columns. 1, 2, 2 out of 3 columns. Okay? Okay, pause the video if you want to look more at this. Now it's your turn. You're going to try to do this one. Pause the video and do this. Well done. I hope you got this correct. Here you could have used your diagram. You could have seen 2 over 4 is a half. It helps you to look at this, to understand your fractions a bit better. Okay, in this case, please note it was take away. So you had to say there 10 take away 3. Remember, if you worked out this lowest common multiple, you could have just looked at multiples of 10 first. 10 isn't in my 3 times table, 20 isn't, but 30 is, so it was 30. Okay? Pause the video to check. Now, if you do foundation maths, you might find this a bit harder, although adding mixed numbers can still be quite okay to do. We are going to say, let's look, adding mixed numbers, add the whole numbers. So we can just go and say 1 plus 5 is 6, yeah? And then we can forget about the whole numbers. We can just look at the 2/5 plus the 1/6. And we need to find the lowest common multiple. Now, if you work this out, what lowest common multiple do you get? Do you want to pause the video quickly and try to work that out yourself? You should have 30 there. Okay? In other words, we're going to make that 30. Do you want to pause the video now and work out these equivalent fractions? See if you can do it on your own. Okay, the answers you should have had was a 12, because we times 5 by 6 and we have to times 2 by 6. Here it was 6 times 5 will give you 30, so 1 times 5 gives you the 5, okay? Now, in other words, the 2/5 became 12 over 30, the 1/6 became 5 over 30. We still have the whole number, the 6 there, we don't forget about it. It is 12 plus 5, which is 17 out of 30. So your answer is 6 and 17/30ths. Okay, pause the video, you do the next one on your own. There you go, there's the answers, please check them. Pause the video to check. Okay, now we're going to take away. I don't have the explanations here how to take away, it is in the workbook. We generally cannot say 7 take away 2 as we did before and then this take away this, because it will only work in some cases. It will only work when this fraction is bigger than that one, else you might have a problem. So I've seen students using different methods here, but this could potentially be the best method that works every time, and that is the least confusing. Now you go on your own, quickly pause the video and work out the lowest common multiple of 9 and 2. Okay, hopefully you got 18 there. Yeah? Did you? Okay. We've got that, but first, before we can do that, we have to change the 7 and 7/9 to an improper fraction. Okay, so it's 7 times 9. What is that? 63 plus 7 is 70. And it goes back on the 9. Okay, so we've got an improper fraction. We've got 2.5 here. How can we change that mixed number to an improper fraction? 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So it is 5 over 2. Now we have two fractions. And we know that the lowest common multiple of 9 and 2 is 18. We already worked that out. So we can go and say 7 over 9 is equal to 70, over 9 is equal to what number over 18? And we need to work out 5 over 2 is equal to what number over 18? Okay, now I think at this stage you know, but remember you're going to get a big number here. At this stage you know how to work out equivalent fraction. So work out that number, take it away and see what you get as an answer. Pause the video. There you go, there's your answer. You had to get 140 over 18 and 45 over 18. 140 take away 45 is 95. At this stage you had 95 over 18, but this is a top-heavy fraction, an improper fraction. We had to change it back to a mixed number. So you had to follow the method 95 divided by 18. That gave you 5 remainder 5. If you struggle with division, go back to my division videos. Okay? Pause the video if you want to check further. Now, there's a bit of practice for you. This is only adding, so it's a bit easier than the taking away. Taking away mixed numbers will be the hardest one you can do here in this workbook. Okay, try these on your own. Pause the video. Now there you go, there's the answers. Please pause the video and check them. Now we are going to multiply fractions. This is the easier one to do. How do you multiply fractions? Multiply the top numbers, multiply the bottom numbers. Simplify the fraction if needed. Okay, times the top numbers here. The example says a half times 5 over 6. 1 times 5 at the top, 2 times 6 at the bottom. In other words, 5 over 12. Now what do you think this first one will be? 1 times 2, 2. 3 times 5, 15. Yes, a lot easier than adding and subtracting, isn't it? Now what would the next one be? 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. But now you see that isn't in the simplest form, so I have to go and simplify this. In other words, half both of them, 1/3. Okay, do you want to pause the video and do the rest? Now, I just want to show you how you can do this faster. It's really important, especially if you want to continue with maths and you want to be really fast on it. You can just look at these answers, at these sums really, and just give the answer. So if we look at the one we just did before, we could have cancelled that 2 with that 2. And you can see the answer is 1/3. Okay? But if you find the cancelling difficult, don't do this. Just do it the way we did it before. Let's look. How could you do this one easier? You could divide by 3, divide by 3. It gives a 1 and a 1. There, 2 and 4. You can divide by 2, 1. Divide by 2, 2. 1 times 1 and 2 times 1. In other words, a half. Okay, you try the rest. I'd really encourage you to use the cancelling out method if you feel up to it. Pause the video to do that. There you go, there's the answers. Did you find cancelling out easier? I hope so. In this one we couldn't cancel, there we couldn't. That one we did already. There, 5, 5. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Okay? The 5 cancel with that 5. Divide the 4 by 4, you get 1. Divide the 8 by 4, you get 2. It's half. Okay, there. Cancel 5 and 5. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Give you 1 over 4. Cancel your 8s. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Gives you the 1/3. Cancel your 5s. You get 2 6s, which is 1/3. Okay? There. The 7 goes in the 14 twice. And we are left with 1 over 8 times 2. Okay, pause the video and check your answers there. Try to find the cancelling out methods there. Now we're going to divide, which is very similar to timesing. Turn the second fraction upside down. This is the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of 2/3? Is 3 over 2. What do you think the reciprocal is of 7 over 5? 5 over 7. Yeah? Okay, so keep the first number the same, a quarter, times, we change it to times, and we take the reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 1 over 10? 10 over 1. In other words, 1 times 10 at the top, 4 times 1 at the bottom. That is 5 over 2. okay? Which is, if you wanted to go further with this, what is that? 5 divided by 2 is 2, remainder 1, 2, and your remainder goes back on the 2 again, okay? Now you try the rest. Pause the video. There you go, I changed the don't forget to change it to a times. I've seen students just this week who kept that as a dividing there. You're changing it to a times, times top, times bottom. And don't forget you can cancel if you know how. Please use cancelling. It's really convenient and fast. Please try to learn to do that. Okay, pause the video to check your answers. Just another thing, what is the reciprocal? Reciprocal of 5. Would you know? What is 5 really? 5 can stand on a 1. Any number can stand on a 1. 5 divided by 1 is just 5. In other words, the reciprocal is 1 over 5. Okay? If you need that in the future. Okay, we're moving on. I just gave you here a few word problems. So there's many more problems in the workbook. Please download it for practice. Why don't you try these on your own, see if you can do them. Pause the video. Now there you go, there's your answers. Just remember this one. If you have to say 20 times 8 and 3/5, how would you do that? You would basically say that 20 can stand on a 1 times. What is 8 times 5 is 40 plus 3 is 43 over 5. So that is the sum you'll do there. And then you'll plus that, quite a complicated sum. See if you can get to that answer. Okay, pause the video to check your answers. Also, this is the end of this book. I hope you can do more with adding and subtracting fractions that you could do before the video. Also, please download my workbook if you need more practice. And thank you very much for listening. Please watch my other videos as well, and please subscribe.